Good morning, everybody. It's shiur Nishma Shel HaKadoshim. We are in parashat Yitro, Kabbalat Torah. We getting the Torah in our parasha, very important point in the life of the Jewish nation. And it starts with Yitro. We have this Gentile, this guy, Yitro, opening this very important parasha. Yitro, and he heard. What is so important with Yitro that we start the parasha of Aseret HaDibrot, of the 10 Commandments, with Yitro? So first I have to understand who Yitro is. Yitro is an idol worshipper from Midian, and he's a priest, not just another one, and he's a leader of his people. And this leader hears what's happening, and he decided to go and to join Am Israel. And this is a very interesting point. Imagine to yourself the Pope standing in the Vatican on this porch with all the hundreds of thousands of people surrounding this center and standing there listening to what the Pope is going to say. And he's approaching them and telling them, listen, we are living a mistake. The real truth is that our religion is not the right religion. The right religion is the Jewish religion, and we have all to convert to become Jewish. What do you think is going to happen? I don't think they're going to let him say it. I don't think he's going to survive it. But anyway, this is the picture. Yitro is this priest of idol worshippers, and he is the leader, and he comes and admitted and says, God is the God, and I'm going to be Jewish. I'm going to be a part of the Jewish nation. And it all started with Yishma. He heard. What did he hear? He heard all the miracles. But we saw also others that heard the miracle and did nothing about it. When we say it in Shirat every day, as Yashir Moshe, and what do we say? After all what's happening is, Sham'u Amim Yirgazun. They are heard. All the nation heard, and they got fright and didn't know what to do. Wow, this all those things that they had got a fright, and they think this greatness of God. Did they do anything about it? No. They went on with their life like nothing happens. They heard all the miracles, and they got a fright out of it, and they understood and realized that that is God, and they went on with their life. Then we have Amalek in the end of the parasha. He hears what's happening, and he comes to fight Am Israel. Not only is not affected by the miracles in the positive way, he is going to fight it. He is going to fight God. Of course, all those things are the Amalek that's inside of us, and this is also Yitro that's inside of us, and all the other nations. There are some of us that hear things, very important things, and that they should maybe change their life or change their attitude or do something about it, but we are lazy, or we are used to our comfort zone and we don't do any changes, and we go on with life like nothing happened. Yes, think about it. Each one of us has got those things, and of course we have this Amalek inside of us, that if we really want something, though we know it's not good for us, we sometimes do it, exactly like Amalek did. For example, drugs. People are addicted to drugs. They know it's no good, and it's cigarettes and all the other stuff, or a cake that is not healthy, all those just junk food, and all the other things in life that we want, and we are prepared to go against all logic, and we do it. This is Amalek. Our Yitro is the one who is telling us the right picture. You hear something that is the truth and is right, you change your life. You change your attitude. You go with it, even if sometimes it's difficult. That is Yitro. And this is the way we should listen. This is why the Torah starts with Yitro, to showing us that somebody from outside, not even from inside, somebody from outside comes and tells us this is the truth. And not just another guy. He is an idol worshiper, a leader, a priest of high, a high priest. What a big lesson there is. So now, after we see this, now we can get the Torah. And here is another interesting point. Says us the Torah, Ko tomar lebet Yaakov v'tagid lebnei Israel. Ko tomar is say to the house of Jacob, v'tagid, what is tagid? Is also to say in a different word, livnei Israel. Why do we use those two phrases that mean the same thing? So one of the explanation is that Bet Yaakov, says Rashi, Ko tomar belashon hazegdal lebet Yaakov elo anashim. Bet Yaakov is the women. You will tell them in a soft language. Bet Yaakov is the women. Bnei Tagid, Bnei Israel, this is, you can tell them hard things, the punishment if you don't listen to God. One of the explanations, this say, it's impossible. It's impossible that Moshe Rabbeinu says different things to different crowds. But maybe what the meaning here is, the way you say to people, the way you pass the message, has to be suitable for those who listen to you. Because otherwise, they will not accept the things you're saying. And this is one of the very important things. For example, years ago, I've been in Cologne, in Germany, and the Rebbe was not there, and they asked me to say Dvar Torah, short Dvar Torah in the morning after the davening, after the praying, and I, of course, said it in Hebrew, and I translated it to German. I'm not very good in German, but it's my, let's say, as a kid, I used to talk with my Oma, with my grandmother in German. And after breaking my teeth and explaining it in German, and also after I said it in Hebrew, and I thought, okay, that's it. Suddenly, somebody gets up and he's explaining the whole Torah I said in Russian. And the truth is that most of the people, a lot of the Jews in Germany, let's say, are from Russia, that they just immigrate to Germany because of what they're getting there, whatever. I'm not going to go into it. And also in Cologne, most of the people who were davening, were praying, were Russian or origin, and they didn't know Hebrew very well, and also German didn't know very well. What they knew very well is Russian. So here we have a case saying the same thing in 3 languages in order for the people to understand what you're saying. You know, sometimes, you know, you come to a place, I can never forget it. I went to this place and there was this very knowledgeable guy, really, very clever. And he was saying and talking to the people, nobody understood it. So, if you don't talk the language that people understand you, if you don't talk at the level that people understand you, what's the meaning? And this is what the Torah is telling us. When you want to pass a message, you have to pass it in the right way, that people understand. Like a salesman, also, he has to sell what he wants to the product. He has to know the product and has to know who he's talking to and how to talk with. Then, talking about passing the message in the right way, we see another interesting point. Ro'im et hakolot. They were seeing the voice. How can you see the voice? I said that it got to a very high spiritual level that they could see the wave of the voice or whatever. As I once told you, there is this guy Guggenheim. You can look it in the internet, that he tried with the seismograph or whatever it calls, to when you say the Hebrew letters, he saw that the seismograph did exactly the letter. It says Aleph, and you saw Aleph. Of course, not a perfect Aleph, but you saw Aleph because who knows if we are pronouncing it in the right way. And that you see with the whole alphabet, Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet, and this is Ro'im Takolot, because the wave of the sound, he made those letters. This is Ro'im Takolot, to see the voice. By the way, he's tried it with other languages, English or French or something, it didn't work. Only with Hebrew. So, Ro'im et hakolot. There is another explanation. What is Ro'im et hakolot? Is sometimes we tell people to do this, to do that, like to our children, we want to educate them, or to grandchildren, we say, you should do this, you should do this, that's the right way, that's the wrong way. And we're preaching, but this is not enough. This is not the right way. We can look at it in Shema Israel when we say V'shinantam levanecha v'dibart bam. You should teach your children, and we'll talk about it. So how do you do it? So V'shivtecha bevetecha, when you sit at your home, you not pass the message with talks. You pass it with deeds. You do things, the way you behave when you sit at home. How you behave at home. B'shivtecha bevetecha. And lechtecha baderech, when you walk outside on the way. How do you behave outside? How do we deal with all the difficulties of life? And b'shoch becha, how we behave at the night when we come back home, and when we go, before we go to sleep, after dealing with a hard day at work or whatever. And how do we start a new day? B'kumecha. In other words, this is the message. You have to see the voice. You have to do something in order to make it clear and pass the message in the right way. To talk, okay, you do this, you do that. It doesn't work. Avraham Avinu, he was chosen ki yida'ati, because I know leman asher yitzaveh, he is going to order his children and all his household after him, and they will keep the way of God to do tzedakah u'mishpat. How did he do it? You can see Avraham and Yitzchak had a few words together. That's all. And Akedat Yitzchak, Vayomer Yitzchak el Avraham Aviv, says Yitzchak talked to his father, Avi, father. And father answered Avraham, Ineni, Bni, Ineni Bni, sorry, Ineni Bni, I'm here, my son. And the son is asking, Inea Eshvait, here's the fire and the wood, where is the lamb for the sacrifice, for the offer? Vayomer Avraham, and what is Avraham saying? Elokim yirelo aseh leolah. God is going to show the lamb for the sacrifice, my son. This is the only thing we see in the Bible of Avraham talking with his son. In other words, the great educator Avraham Avinu is teaching us. It's not the words, it's not the voice, it's what you do. When you want to pass a message, you have to give an example. And we also don't, not always interpret what we see in the right way. I was going home a few years ago, and somebody was putting his highlight behind me, like blinking, again and again and again, and then I also beeping, and I was getting crazy. What does he want from me? I was in the right place. There was no way I could go. What's wrong? And I'm saying, hey, what do you want? And suddenly I realized that I'm going without the lights. The lights were turned off. They were not turned on in the night. So the only thing the guy behind wanted to tell me, turn on your light. In other words, when we hear something, when we see something, we have to understand where did it come from, what it is all about. And the big lesson here is, when you hear Vayishma Yitro, you have to act according to what you hear. And if you hear something that is very important, and you have to change some things that, even if they're difficult, do it. Because that's the right way. Don't be like Amalek and fight it because you want this thing which is no good for you. And also, don't go on with life like you didn't hear it if you have to do something. Be like Yitro. Change your life even if you need, in order to go in the right way, in the good way. And then, when we want to pass the message to the next generation or to other people, do it in the right way. Do it in a way that they will understand what you're saying. Talk at the level of the people that listen to you. And also, it's not enough to talk. You have to show example. All the best. Shefa bracha v'atzlacha.